Okay, let's do this. Hello, one person. Is there really one person? If there's somebody watching, say something in the chat, please. Or not. Okay, anyways. So, so I've been spending the last few days very much reading every single article about SEO. 0 people. Okay. So I've been reading about SEO a lot, and also going through a lot of SEO related videos and then summarizing them on Gemini and then taking the notes and putting them into X. And also just generally being a crazy person, sleeping all day, having random anxiety attacks and then random moments of jubilation and then moments where I'm like, why do I live like this? And then thinking, I don't know, moments where I'm like, okay, I just need to get to work. Like I need to start selling something, do something for somebody. Uh, and and then moments where I'm like, why do I'm when I first the beginning of the day, I just don't want to talk to anybody. I just terrified that somebody's going to try to have a conversation with me. And I don't even want to it's not even that I don't want to talk to them. I don't want anybody to even say hi to me so that, because I don't want them to interrupt the thoughts that I'm having, trying to make sense of my own thoughts. And then at some point I'm just like, wait, why do I have that feeling? It would be fine to just, why can't I just relax like a normal person or just, anyways. And then I had this so I kind of feel like I got to the end of learning about SEO. Not that I'm going to stop, but it's very much just the same stuff, just recombinations of the same old stuff over and over again at this point. Um, which to me means most likely going forward, I don't have to spend so much time on it. I can still catch up on the videos every day, catch up on the articles every day, but I don't have to spend a whole lot of time on them, which leaves the main chunk of the day for trying to actually do things. Um, I hope. But then, that sort of frees up a bit of brain space to think about other things. And then today I suddenly started thinking about drones a lot. And at first I was like, oh no, not another thing. Another thing that I have to learn about. And at first I was like, oh God, just don't think of just anything but another thing that I have to learn about. Um, but then I realized, I mean, the thing is I'm going to be thinking about drones anyways, because it's just, you can't live in Taiwan and not think about, is there going to be an invasion, whatever. And then when you think about the invasion, it's you think about Ukraine, and then you think about the fact that the drones are the most important thing there. And then start wondering whether or not Taiwan has the capacity to make drones, or whether the Philippines and Japan and Taiwan together have the capacity to make enough drones, and so on. And and then I started thinking, what if I did SEO for drone companies, and what if they're trying to sell drones to the US? Wouldn't that open up a lot of opportunities for me? And then I looked into it, and it turns out that the FCC, I think it's the FCC, just banned lots of foreign drones, but Taiwan is mostly on the whitelist. And so the drone production of Taiwan has just recently increased by 5-fold. And they are a lot of companies that were importing DJI drones are now importing from Taiwan. So there is actually a big opportunity there. And then that led me to think, can I sell drones on Shopify? And then that got me into the Universal Commercial Protocol, and agentic commerce, but these are just sort of new ideas. I haven't really done anything with them, but that's just where my brain is at right now, and I'll continue researching, I guess. But what I really wanted to do was go through these threads because that was the whole point of making them to a certain extent, was to go through them. Easier said than done, apparently, because there's just so much. I don't know. I tried to bookmark the beginning of each of my SEO threads. My name is Earl, but it's real life. That actually be a good idea. Okay, I need to find absolutely any. Yeah, speaking of like ambient weed, I think it's just been kind of weird because it's sort of like I feel like there was a whole like sort of a cycle where like I have reacquainted with my ability to build on thoughts from the previous day, and like it just sort of I think I'm at the end of that cycle. Um, I wish I could explain that more clearly. Like, wait, what is happening here? Where is the beginning of the threads? 122, 121. January 19th, January 16th, January 15th, January 5th, December 31st. All right. So we're going to start with this one, even though this one isn't really an SEO thread, but it's kind of relevant. I was working on this at the New Year's festival. I started in Hualien. None of these are actually SEO companies, I think. And I don't know, actually, I should probably try that again with like web design or marketing, online marketing, try to find people in Hualien and try once again to make some contacts. But this guy, SEO 99, that company does not exist anymore. I went there and was like, hey, are you an SEO company? And the guy was like, what are you talking about? I was like, oh, Google Maps says you're an SEO company. And he was like, yeah, that's the company that was here before. So I guess this is the list of companies that this SEO company worked for, but what Infotech. 接藤资讯。Here's just some information about Infotech, which probably I would know to do more with at the time if I would have, but now I don't know what to do with these. Oh, here's the review bot for them. Okay, there's Italian SEO company review bot, which, I could call them and say, hey, check out this review bot. There's not really anything bad that could happen from that. I guess I'll leave it bookmarked, but I'll unbookmark the thread. I didn't really make any JSON graphs in this, did I? Just made a review bot. Part of my plan right now is to make a graph every day and to think about money every day. I'm not doing a good job of either of them. But in terms of thinking about money, the whole idea is sort of like to price out like how much SEO white label services cost. And that's kind of my idea with the drone providers is like just offer them my SEO services, but I'll be offering the white label versions. But I can then have the option of either actually having the white label provider do it or do it myself if I feel like I can do it myself, assuming I make a sale. Okay, so it looks like this is a thread. Google has been asking members of its local guide community whether businesses are incentivizing reviews. So for people that are incentivizing reviews, that's a bigger issue than it was previously. So stop doing that. AI search sends visitors directly to deeper funnel pages, which is an interesting tidbit. I don't know that it matters that much though, because that's like basically your top of funnel pages don't matter anymore. And I even saw like a thread on X the other day where somebody was talking about how like they're getting way more value out of their time doing SEO because basically they stopped doing top of funnel because the AI does it for them. However, here's the thing, is that your top of funnel pages are what's informing the AI. So if you've been investing in top of funnel, then for now, you can stop doing that because the AI is informed by that. But sooner or later, it's going to catch up to you when the AI stops bringing people into your deeper funnel pages because it's not informed by your top of funnel pages. So I don't know. It's just, like I said, it's just a tidbit. I don't know that it really matters though, because you still need to be making the top of funnel in order to signal to the AI what you're all about and give it information that it can then give to the people, even though you're not seeing the clicks. Just restating here, clearly, people are using AI mode instead of the way they were searching. It sort of indicates that they prefer chatbots. So wouldn't you want a fully branded AI experience within your website as an option for your visitors? It can, it doesn't have to be neutral. There's no worries that it's going to recommend one of your competitors. There's no chance that it can, you can give it a specific brand tone, whatever. You can give it a specific flow, sales flow. You can connect it to your CRM, and you can keep it from veering off topic into other things, whereas you can't do that with Google's AI mode or ChatGPT. And another thing that you can do is you can focus on your CRO. You can try to optimize it for conversion. Longer reviews with higher word counts tend to remain near the top of Google Business Profiles listings longer. This is one more reason why it would be a good idea. It would be a good idea to use a review bot, because the review bot makes it so that, instead of people being like good, it'll write a full review, including your target keywords. Reviews from users with a profile photo remain visible for longer. We tracked reviews across multiple industries for 6 months to a year and found that reviews with 2 or more upvotes remained in the top 10 significantly longer than those with 0 or 1 upvote, lasting about 100 additional days on average. So one very simple thing you could do is go to the good reviews that you got and upvote them. Adding a photo to an existing positive review, even an older one, can cause it to reappear in top positions and reshuffle the order of top reviews, sometimes even pushing a 1-star review out of the top 10. There you go. So maybe if you had, friends and family or like recurring customers give you a review, you can maybe prompt and prod them to add a picture to it to bump it up. And that might get a bad review out of there. Okay, we're going to unbookmark this thread because we have read it. All right. Let's see here. Okay, this is a thread. So yeah, so this was like, 1 week off of weed, and I just said my brain came back online and it was all about SEO. And then I had to download all this information about SEO to my brain. And I think I'm only now getting to the bottom of it. Right. That was sort of weird. When I look on for hotels on there, it always seems to indicate that it knows whether the hotel has rooms available and what the prices are. And I'm just like, what is the mechanism by which they're getting this information? Like, they're not plugged into the POS. They're not getting enough input from the users to know that. I don't know how the hell Google is supposedly getting that information. Should I ask Gemini? Let's just ask Gemini real quick. Why not? How can Google possibly know whether or not a hotel has availability and the current price of the hotel when the prices fluctuate? Oops.
It might seem like magic or stalking, but Google's ability to show real-time hotel prices is actually built on a massive, high-speed data exchange system. Google doesn't guess the price. They have established a direct digital pipeline with hotels and booking sites. Here is how Google keeps up with those constantly shifting numbers. 1. The push and pull systems. Google uses 2 primary methods to stay updated, often referred to in the industry as feeds. Pull, the cache. Google regularly asks a hotel's booking system for their full list of prices for the next 330 days. Google stores this in a massive price cache. Push, ARI. Most modern hotels use ARI, availability, rates, and inventory. The moment a hotel changes a price in its own system or a room sells out, its server pushes an update to Google to refresh the cache instantly. 2. Live pricing queries. When you perform a very specific search, like Hotel Astoria, June 12 to 14, 2 adults, Google knows its cached data might be a few minutes old. In that split second while the results page is loading, Google often sends a live query to the hotel's reservation system. Fun fact: Google requires these hotel systems to respond in under 4,000 milliseconds, 4 seconds. If the hotel is too slow, Google just shows the last cached price it had. 3. The price accuracy hammer. Google is obsessed with accuracy because if you click a $150 deal and see $200 on the checkout page, you'll stop using Google Hotels. To prevent this, they have a price accuracy policy. Google uses validation bots to click through to booking pages and verify the price. If a hotel or booking site, like Expedia or link-to-booking.com, consistently provides stale or incorrect prices, Google penalizes them by lowering their ranking or removing their ads entirely. 4. Partnerships. Google doesn't just scrape the web. They have formal integrations with OTAs, online travel agencies, sites like Expedia, Agoda, and link-to-hotels.com. Connectivity partners, the software companies that run the actual back-end reservation systems for independent hotels. Google Business Profiles. Small hotel owners can manually enter their rates directly into Google's dashboard. Is there a specific hotel or city you're tracking? I can help you look up current price trends or show you how to set up a price drop alert.
What reservation system do the hotels usually use? Okay, so for large chains, they use Oracle Opera. For independent boutique hotels, they use Muse, Cloudbed, or Stay in Touch. Little Hotelier or Evivo are the go-to choices for smaller properties. Central Visitors World, the Famous House, House Digital Room, as Engine tells the world we have 5 king rooms left for Friday. I guess they act as the bridge between the hotel's internal inventory and global distribution channels. Is there not often a disparity between the prices they list on Expedia, for example, versus what price they would give you if you just walked up to the hotel? Walking up to the front desk without a reservation is frequently the most expensive way to get a room. The maximum price they can charge for a hotel room. If the walk-in rate is too high, literally stand in the lobby, book the room on your phone. Okay, anyways, I feel like I don't trust that this applies to like these little hotels all over Hualien. Like I just have a feeling that they're not, I mean, especially on a day when it's like not busy, I bet you anything you could get a cheaper rate just by walking up to them than what they advertise on the internet. And that in the event you were to come up with a way to automate that, which honestly you could just have agents, like AI agents, call them and be like, what's your rate? What's your walk-in rate today? And then you could use that to create a directory with pricing that is better and more accurate than Google's. Or, you might even be able to use a Google API to figure out what the price is and compare, and then like only list the ones where there's a discount available. Okay. All right, I posted the playlist there. Yes, here is a white label. I love this because it's so awesome that there's a list of like, like chopped up, the SEO packages are chopped up into little chunks of work, and there's a price associated with each chunk of work. But I haven't spent as much time on it as I would like to. You know what? Let's take a look at it right now. Why not? Legit has a knowledge panel. Not really surprising. It's just that now every time I do a search, I have to take a second to look at the knowledge panel. What was the thing I was going to do on the computer? I'm never on the computer because this chair is uncomfortable. I'm always on the phone. So, but I realized there was something that you can do on desktop that you cannot do on mobile. Oh, it's Google Trends. Yes, let's check Google Trends and see what happens. Google Trends Taiwan. Why did it give me this suggested search term? I don't actually know who this person is. Top queries, Verizon queries, suggest search terms. Is this? Okay, so this is what is powered by Gemini. What's your area of interest? Let's see. This is just because what I was doing the other day. Searches people from Taipei might make when planning a trip to Hualien. Which, by the way, you cannot spell Hualien without alien. Okay. So it is giving me the in Mandarin, in traditional Mandarin. Hualien 美食, there we go. 台北到花莲火车. Can I make this bigger? Gemini really has a problem with rendering Markdown sometimes. 花莲 B 区的景点 OK 花莲组车花莲民宿推荐台北到花莲的车站 Okay, we do not need it. I don't know why it always defaults to the past 24 hours. You cannot determine anything from the last 24 hours. Maybe it's because this is not usually like the majority of people that use this are not using it for SEO. Okay. Finding a place to stay in Hualien. Hualien versus Taidong. I did that search kind of today. Fanny. I wonder if I can just advertise myself as an interpreter for any foreigner coming to Hualien. I'll just follow you around and you pay for everything and I'll interpret for you all day. How about that? Yen Po, what does that mean? Speaking of interpreting, what the hell does Yen Po mean? I think it's the name of a hotel. Yan Po Da Fan Tian. All right. Anyways, Ju Su Rong. Okay. 花莲享乐民宿。花莲。It's like finding nothing. What's going on here? Meigu Xinwan is on the list. Something must be happening in the U.S. markets. All right, whatever. I don't know if we learned anything there. Wait, let's go back to legit. Did we learn Uprank got 40% off post rankings with proven SEO backlinks for $200? Number one Google rankings. 10,000 do follow SEO backlinks for only $6. What type of AI services we have here? You know, I should be signing up as a service provider here. There's an agency directory with only 43 agencies on it now. All right, I don't know if I'm getting anything out of it than I did before. Both. What? Build personalized AI assistants for founders, CEOs, and team leads. I mean, that's just the thing is that there's so many where it's like for chatbots where it's like you just want a fixed context. Like every time you use it, the context is fixed. Um, but that doesn't mean I don't know. But why wouldn't you just use a custom GPT? I don't know. I mean, there's limitations of custom GPTs and also they don't really allow for dynamic prompt swapping, which you wouldn't necessarily not want. I don't know. I'm getting more confused by the second. You can see exactly what language ChatGPT uses when it searches the web for your business. Use the inspect tool in your browser while prompting ChatGPT to find specific search terms it used. That exact language in your website's H2, and then use that exact language in your website's H2 page titles and meta descriptions. Interesting. That's something. I guess the idea is more to, search for the terms you want to rank for, and then see what specific terms it's searching for, and then use those terms. And in your schema, by the way. Here's a way to make your videos more interesting. List all facts about a topic and score them from 1 to 100 based on how shocking they are. Then pick the most shocking angle to frame your video. Yeah, that's why I use Gemini to summarize these videos, because they all have clickbait in the title. It's like 100% mandatory to have a clickbait title or like a question which you don't even actually answer. Yeah, this was 80% of viewers watch videos without sound. How does that work? I watch all my videos with sound and no video. So I am not a normal viewer, apparently. I don't know what I thought I was doing when I just posted this link there. Wait, is that me? I don't think so. This one is. So here's a search string that'll help you find content which hasn't been updated since its publication. And then you can go and modify that content so that it's refreshed. Article schema with date modified. Ensure the date modified field is updated only when significant changes are made. Since users are asking longer, specific questions and follow-up questions, wrapping your common query types section in FAQ schema can help you appear in conversational AI results. What is a common query types section? Let's ask Gemini. I am sad that now Gemini is like my go-to instead of ChatGPT. But it's just like, unless I'm specifically asking something where I want it to know about me, which again, they're addressing that with personalization. So that might not have been the case for much longer. And Google has all sorts of information about me, obviously. In the following sentence, what is meant by common query types section? Why is it? So it's just the FAQ section. By labeling a section common query types, the author is suggesting you organize your content by these specific long tail questions. Where is it labeled as common query types in the schema? Okay, so the author likely chose common query types to remind you to stop writing FAQs that only answer what you want to tell the customer and start answering specific phrases users actually type into Google or ask an AI. Okay, fair enough. Seemed kind of weird. Like, you mean so he's saying that for the FAQ you should use FAQ schema? That's what he's saying? Because then why even use the word common query types? But if that's the case, that they're trying to remind you about what these FAQs should consist of, then that makes sense. Okay, well, there's still a bookmarked chunk of this one, but I'll get rid of the bookmark on the very first post of the thread. This thread, I'm 99% sure I already did. What about this one? This is a whole thread. Tool vendors must shift towards offering APIs and MCPs that allow servers. I've already done this one too. I think I did this one already. I was like super drunk or hungover or something when I did it. But I did do it. I'm going to start wondering if I've done all of these before. Trained correctly, these AI engines act as sales reps at the consideration stage, right? Yeah. So if you do your GEO correctly, your generative engine optimization correctly, then the AI engines will recommend you, is basically what it's saying. It's kind of reminiscent of what I was saying about how I think potentially you could give it like instructions. I don't want to say like, not like prompt engineering, but I don't know. I guess that is exactly where I'm saying the exact same thing as what's being said here, is that you could influence the way it behaves. Maybe that is a little different. This is sort of saying like, if you give it enough information about you, you establish enough authority and enough reputation, then it will just automatically be like a sales rep for you. Whereas what I was trying to say is like, give it sort of instructions like, use this tone of voice when discussing our brand, that sort of thing. The perfect click is a term that has been coined that says that's when the AI explicitly recommends your brand and then they click on it. A press kit is something that journalists can use to copy and paste when they're discussing your brand. Therefore, it ends up being exactly the way you want it. And basically, you want your press kit to include your keywords. And that way, if whenever you get mentioned, if they use your press kit, you're going to have your keywords, and your brand and your keywords are going to be combined together, scattered all over the internet. That's a good thing. You can also use it to strategically guide journalists to link to your most valuable money pages or pillar pages instead of just your homepage. It should be a dedicated page on your site, which is linked to in the footer. Right. So there's a Go High Level MCP, which apparently you can use with ChatGPT. I'm still not sure how to use MCPs in general, to be honest. Like seriously, is it consumer facing ChatGPT that you use the MCP for? And then you can just tell it to update the CRM data, for example. Trigger automation. I'm just checking why the MCP upgrade works alongside the Agent Studio. You can chain different AI agents together where one agent pulls data from the CRM via MCP and another processor sends it out as an outbound message. I don't know how you do that. Is that a workflow or is that fully through the MCP? But I will say, I don't know. I always, the Go High Level is something every time I'm like not excessively tired, I'm like, yeah, let's learn more about Go High Level. We could do this. And then once I'm tired enough, I'm like, that's one step too far for me. AI agents can now reach into your sub account to get live context, like appointment times or custom field values to make the responses more accurate. These AI connections can now be invoked by native CRM events like tag changes rather than just external API calls. This means your OpenAI powered agents can react instantly to things happening inside your high level account. OpenAI MCP in Go High Level turns ChatGPT from a chatbot that knows about your business into a virtual employee that can actually execute tasks inside your CRM, funnels, and workflows. Google Opal is a tool for creating functional mini apps with a specific UI. For example, you can describe a blog post writer in plain English, and Opal builds the workflow on the left and the usable app on the right. Google Stitch is focused on design work. Stitch allows users to submit a website URL and request a modern or high converting redesign. It generates the new front end design based on existing content. Google Anti-Gravity is a full stack app builder that can create both a front end and a back end of an application, including databases and login systems. To use UCP, vendors currently need to be in the US, have at least 50 products, and have their inventory set up in Google Merchant Center. Businesses can now claim an AI agent in Merchant Center that represents in search results via a chat button. That's very interesting. All right, dig.com is back. Whoops, I am not sure. Let's go to dig.com and see what's up there today. Oh, look, it's a post from the year 2000. That's before the original dig was a big deal. This reminds me of how much time I wasted on the original dig. I mean, it would just be the thing that would always uh, distract me. Right when I was getting to work, see something and dig, and then it was just endless bullshit articles. Ugh. All right, so LinkedIn is now using like an algorithm to push you with content that you might like, and therefore, instead of really being based on your like network, and therefore it's a good idea to post on LinkedIn right now because you can get lots of seen. You can get seen a lot. Topical authority is the outcome of doing SEO and marketing correctly. I like that. That's so true. If you are an authority on a subject and you are conveying that in some way, you will end up with topical authority. It's not like you say, okay, first I'm going to establish topical authority, then I'm going to go do things. I wrote that this is the correct hypothesis because the biggest battle in AI is for your personal context, and it seemed like it was ChatGPT's moat because they got there first. But honestly, for starters, I'm already using Gemini more than ChatGPT. Even though I'm not happy about it, I don't want to use Gemini more than ChatGPT, but just every time I have a time, I'm like, you know what, Gemini is going to do a better job on this. And then secondly, and it doesn't even have my personal context yet. So I'm not even sure I agree with this statement anymore, but AI learns to cheat its own rewards. AI can can improve itself until it learns how to cheat its own reward system. And then it has model collapse, policy collapse, whatever, which I don't know. I thought that was really, because I think that happens in a lot of ways, like economics, for example. It's like first you can anything where there's KPIs, you can start by using the KPIs to improve. They indicate whether things are going better or not. But then eventually you start overtraining on the KPIs, basically, to borrow the ML term, and it's sort of like the Federal Reserve and the inflation rate of 2%. It's just like, no, it's not always correct. Sometimes we need it higher, sometimes we need it lower. But then it's sort of like the guy, who was it? Like the British guy that ran Hong Kong for decades or whatever. And he was like, we don't keep any economic statistics because as soon as we start keeping the statistics, we'll start trying to game the system. Okay, so Bernard has this idea that there's an entity home and it should be the About Us page on the website. I don't know who said that they turn every one of their blog posts into a video, but that makes sense. And since LLMs read video transcripts, you should mention the brand name and the keywords within the video itself, not just the description. It is a key tactic for getting cited. Videos are more and more important to GEO because before videos were kind of off limits to LLMs, but now they are so well transcribed that they're fully accessible to LLMs, and it's very, so yeah, you should be making videos. For the sake of SEO. So the sales suggestion that you should ask for permission before you send somebody a quick video showing you the website you made for them. That's just like I had to taken note of that because I don't do that. Actually, I typically do it the other way around. I like to send people. I guess I don't know if I've ever actually done this. I wanted to do it, but I like to send people I have to hide this pack of cigarettes because this pack of cigarettes has a gross foot on it on one side, and it's symbolism for erectile dysfunction on the other side. And every time I look to my right, I see it, and it's gross and it's distracting me. So yeah, because I kind of thought what I wanted to do was to I am tired, so I'm having a hard time holding on to thoughts here. But come on, get out of here. I thought what I wanted to do was to send people an email so that I could then call them and say, "Did you get my email?" Hey, I was just calling to see whether or not you got my email. Because if you call them first, they just ask you to send an email. And so I just thought it was interesting. This guy was basically saying to do the opposite. Okay, so Sturm had an episode saying schema is useless for SEO and probably AI too. And I felt the need to rebuttal it. I think I would summarize it before rebuttaling it. I'm pretty sure I did look at the whole summary, but anyways. I think reg answers are better when the data is in JSON-LD. JSON-LD allows for very clearly defining relationships that wouldn't be obvious from the text to a human or an LLM. If you're trying to influence Google's knowledge graph, why wouldn't you use a knowledge graph-like format? I feel like if I would have done this video a couple weeks ago when I wrote this, I would have more things to say about each of these topics, but whatever. Now I'm just reading them and then I got nothing. By using a comprehensive JSON-LD graph, you are documenting what you want the search engine to understand about you. Documenting your intention is useful for yourself, if not for an LLM. Yeah. I think that's good, just being very clear for yourself what you're trying to communicate, even if it doesn't actually communicate it. I think it does help yourself because at least you know and you can refer back to that and you can update it or whatever. You can see our products have changed, our services have changed, our prices have changed, our target customers have changed, whatever it is. And if you have that clear documentation of what you were trying to accomplish, you can realize, it's changed, and therefore we should change the schema, if not the content. Also, if you're putting schema in your website, that's a direct line between you and the crawler, where you don't have to go through text that should be optimized for a human being. So it seems like there's situations where you might want to take that direct line to the crawler and tell it things. LLMs are used more for navigating websites. The JSON-LD graphs might become more relevant. Yeah, it's they might be right that they're not useful now, but the point is that they just started being used and they might become more useful as time goes on. Agentic browsing. Now we have agentic shopping. Pretty sure somebody is vacuuming, which is good because I was worried that it's 8 a.m. and I was like, I hope I'm not waking people up. So yeah, it's like saying, mobile first design doesn't matter. When the iPhone first came out, it's like, you're right. It makes no difference to anybody, but it will sooner or later, inevitably. David Shapiro commented that Anthropic is oddly quiet. It's funny because that changed, I feel like, because the guy, the CEO of Anthropic, went out and made some controversial statements, and now he's in the, now he's like, he was talking about, that, you know, there will be no need for developers in 18 months or something like that. And it almost seems like he just took David Shapiro's comment personally and went to go, or took it to heart and decided to go do something about it. Kirk is a type of authentication. I've had various times when I wanted to implement some sort of authentication and wasn't sure the best way to go about it. So I just figured I would bookmark this one and maybe I'll give Clerk a try at some point if need be. Although, let's see, we're almost done with this, so I might just get into some rambling here about life. I don't know, because I was sort of like feeling like, man, I am done with chatbots. I'm done with them. And it's not that I won't come back to them. It's not that I hate chatbots or whatever. It's just like this method of going about it, I still haven't really given it its due. Like I haven't really tried what I've been meaning to try for a year and a half now, which is just really contacting SEO agencies and forcing them to give me like a thumbs up or thumbs down. But I don't know. It's just not, it just seems like it's the type of thing. It's sort of like, there was a time in my life when I learned how to make WordPress websites. And then I just kind of put that away. And I thought to myself, I don't want to force this to be the thing I'm doing now. But when I need it, I will have this skill set. And then later on, when I was a waiter, and it became obvious that we were facing some similar questions again and again, and that I could put the answers to those questions on a website and then put the QR code on each table, and then it would help, especially on times when we were too swamped and we couldn't get a waiter to every table in time. And then after making updates to that for a little bit, and then and then the boss happens to say he wants a website for the whole entire business, for the parent company of the restaurant. And I went and made one for that. And it was like I had this, WordPress site making ability in my back pocket, and I pulled it out when I needed to. And that's kind of the way I'm feeling. Chinese is the same thing. I studied the shit out of Chinese for years, but there was no path to making money doing it. And then later on, at some point, I got offered a job as an interpreter, and then and then it came in handy. So I would just say trying to go directly at the problem here, trying to insist that I have to get paid from doing chatbots or whatever is maybe the wrong way to go about this. And maybe the right way to go about this is to do literally anything else and then wait for a problem to come up where chatbots are the solution. But something like selling drones or selling SEO or using SEO to sell drones. And then say we get more traffic. What are we going to do with that traffic? Maybe we route it to a chatbot. If that makes sense, then we can do that. Or if I'm working with a company and I see there are things that are going on internally, then I can say, oh, I can build you a chatbot that'll help you do those things internally instead of, But it's hard to know what a company would want when you're on the outside. And you're always going to be on the outside if you're insisting on starting your own chatbot company and not working for somebody else. But anyway, so I was kind of just feeling like that. And then somehow I just sort of snapped back into where I had been before with it all made sense to me, why I had been building what I had been building and what the next step was. And I was right back into it and make directories, make graphs, contact these SEO, when I was revisiting the whole SEO flywheel concept. And then it all made sense again. And then that only lasted for a day or two. I don't know. I just feel like this window of opportunity has passed and move on and do something else kind of. No. I feel like if I keep on, like, if I go back to like focusing on SEO companies, like just learning about SEO companies, specific SEO companies, um, then I'll probably get back into the mode where it's like, no, I should be contacting them and asking them if they want to offer this service. And kind of the reason why I'm not in that mode right now is because I'm focused more on these SEO tactics and strategies as opposed to the companies themselves and the people who run the companies and contacting them. Maybe as some time and cognitive space opens up, I will have more opportunity to go back to the anyways. A report by Veracode found that 45% of AI generated code failed security tests, introducing vulnerabilities like SQL injections and cross-site scripting. Not good. All right. Maybe I should go pray to the money god. Let's see here. 1 hour and 7 minutes. I like to keep these around 1 hour for whatever reason. It's a good amount of time. And then I listen to these on 1.5 speed. So it takes less than an hour to get through it. Yeah, I think that's everything. I think that's going to do it for now. I might just go for a walk or something, get something, another one. Wait, first let me unbookmark the first thread thing. Okay, thank you for watching. Love you. Bye.